Before I start my speech, I would like to clarify something. The time is 15 to 20 minutes, but due to the time restriction, we will limit the speech to 12 to 13 minutes only, and the timing sequence is 12 to 13, so 10, 13, and 15 minutes. The red are the green, yellow, and red. Now, a few months back, my friend and I went to Bali for a trip. For me, Bali was a place to relax, to enjoy the sceneries, and to enjoy good food. But for my friend, shopping was never out of the question. And since she was the lady, I had to follow her. So we went to a market. At the market, all the shops looked exactly the same to me. I didn't know why, except one shop. The lady shop owner was dressing in the traditional Balinese clothes. That's why we went into the shop. While my friend was so busy trying out clothes, the lady started to talk to me about the weather. Very common, very naive. It was indeed a hot day. And then she started to show me her collection of tank tops. And I told myself, oh good, with this kind of weather, a tank top would be perfect for me. That is why I decided to buy a tank top. Now there's something in Bali that you should know. If you are a tourist in Bali, bargaining is a technique that you must learn. The lady told me that the tank top cost $20. I told her I would not spend more than $10 for it. So after a few times bargaining back and forth, my friend and I almost decided to leave without buying, and the lady finally agreed to sell me the tank top at $10. I was really happy. I thought that I made a good deal out of it. You were shaking your head, yes. The next day, we went to the market again, I don't know why. The lady still remembered me. I was happy because I made a good deal out of the tank top. I was wearing it. The lady greeted me and we went to her shop again. And I was so happy that she remembered me. I ended up buying another 2 tank tops, $10 a piece, for my friends at home. I was happier than ever. Only that late afternoon, I went back to the hotel, and my fellow travelers in the hotel, he wore the same tank top. He told me he bought it in another shop at the price of, can you guess? $3 per piece. Now, I felt that I was cheated, but I was still happy. Why? Because the lady at the shop was in fact an excellent salesperson. She knew exactly what I wanted. I was wearing jeans and shirt in a hot day, so she was trying to tell me a tank top. She was authentic because her shop was having a lot of ornaments, traditional Balinese ornaments. She even remembered me afterwards. These are the signs of a good salesperson. She actually followed the 6 steps of how to sell her products, and this is why I'm going to share with you today A, B, C, D, E, F, the 6 steps sales formula. You may ask this question, why do I need to learn about sales? I myself am an engineer. You may be a writer, a teacher, you may be a stockbroker, you may be a banker, you may be a reader. Why do we need to learn about sales? Let me tell you this, you may sell more often than you might think. And just within a few minutes after this, I'm going to convince you that selling something is not very different from dating somebody. I'm going to tell you a story. Just imagine that I am a guy. Oh, in fact, I am a guy, so just imagine that Rika and I, we are dating.
Oh, woohoo!
So, we are dating, Rika. In the first few dates, what do? I would like to know about her interests, her hobbies. I want to know about her passions in life. And this step, I want to call it assessing the needs of the audience, assessing the needs of the prospect. Just like the lady in the shop in Bali, she was talking with me very casually about the weather, and she found out that I was really, really hot on that day. And that is why she knew exactly that I need the change of clothes. How do we make sure that we know the needs of the customer within the first few minutes? By talk less, to and to listen more. This is a mistake that many traditional salespeople make. They think that with their ability of speaking, their ability of convincing people to buy, people will be impressed by their speaking ability. But no, I am the customers many times in my life. I am usually taken aback by those salespeople. I just wish that they would stop for a while. They would just ask me questions, listen to my opinions, and to understand me. Then I will buy their products. So firstly, I need to talk to Rika a lot to understand her needs. Next, what do? We have dated for a few months now. What next? Rika started to share her problems to me. Many, many problems. And I want to ensure to her that I will be there for her to solve her problems. Whenever she wants to fix the light bulb, I will be there for her, even though I may not be able to reach the ceiling. Whenever she is sick, I will run across the country to buy her favorite fishball noodle. And this step I'm calling building trust. How do we build trust? If we do the first step of assessing the needs correctly, trust will come naturally, but it is not the only way. The more important way to build trust is to be authentic. The lady at the shop was authentic because she was dressing in her traditional clothing. The shop was designed so that I went in there, I know exactly this is a Balinese shop. As a speaker, as people in the relationship, we need to be authentic of who we are. And as a seller, we need to be authentic of what we are selling. No tricks, no gimmicks, no lies. So now that I have assessing her needs, I have built her trust, what next? We have dated for more than a year now, Rika, and she started to see the benefits of dating me. I may not be a tall guy, but my shoulder is always low enough for her to lean on. I may be not a smooth talker, but I'm a great listener. Wow. I always listen to her complaining about stuff. And this step is a very important step, which I call creating solutions for her problems. This is a step that many salespeople, even though the big companies, they fail to do. The lady at the shop in Bali, the tank top was very normal tank top. I can buy that anywhere, but she knew that the tank top would give me a solution for my heat problem. And I'm going to give you another example. We focus on benefits, not just features. Features are on the product side, but benefits are on the customer side. I'm going to give you this example. A few years back, 2008, HTC released HTC Touch Diamond. And Apple released the iPhone 3G at the same time. They have always been rivals to each other. And HTC Touch Diamond, I must say, it was a top-notch product. It was a breakthrough in hardware design. But the iPhone 3G at that time, there were many flaws to it. But still, within the first 2 days of release, iPhone sold 1 million units. It took HTC a mere 6 weeks to sell just the same amount. Why is that? Why did that happen? It is because Apple was so clever in their marketing program. This is just one example in how they were so clever. The tagline for HTC Touch was elegance and innovation. It was all about the products. But the tagline for iPhone was solving life's dilemma one app at a time. It's all about the experience of the customers. So just by this simple example, you can see that creating the solution for the customers, we need to focus on the customer's experience, not on the features. Because features are just features. They are just phone to the customers. But they would never do any good for the customers if they don't solve any problem. All right? So now I have done what? Assessing her needs. I've built a trust. I've solved a lot of her problems. We have dated for almost 2 years now, Rika. I popped the question. Will you marry me, please? Now, if she says yes, the deal is finished. I will be finished. But just for the sake of discussion, let's assume that she's saying no. Oh. For a guy to receive that answer after a proposal, he would easily freak out. He would easily blame everything on himself. He would easily beg, please, why? But the same thing to do in this situation would be to sit down, discuss with her. Why did you say no? And this step I call diffusing rejection. Many cases, I think very often that after a long discussion with the seller, the buyer decides not to go on with the product. It's very common. And a lot of sellers, they are afraid of this situation. They are scared of this situation because they tend to blame themselves. Am I not a good seller? Am I not a good salesperson? What they don't understand is this is the sign that the buyer is almost ready to buy the product. If the customer refuses at the beginning, even before the selling process, there's nothing to be done. They are not interested at all. But after the long discussion, after 2 years of dating Vika, she said no, which means there is something that's blocking her decision. It is the buyer's power now to talk to the customer, to find out what is going on, what is wrong with the process, what is wrong with the product, what else does the customer needs. And the key to it is make it in an advantage. This is not an argument. This is the problem and solution process. And the buyer and the seller needs to find out the solution to the problems. If he can find out the solution to exactly the problem, the sales would be done. So assuming that I've done all that, I've asked her the questions, we have discussed for a long night, I found out that she said no, Rika said no, because the diamond on the engagement ring was not big enough. And she told me that was the only thing that is not big enough. I have decided to work myself harder, and after 6 months, after the Christmas bonus, I popped the question again, and voila, she said yes. This step, I call it enforcing close. In this step, it is crucial for the seller to step back, to let the buyer decide every details of the sale as much as possible. That is why we will ask the buyer, when are you going to need the products? We will ask the buyer, how do you want to customize it? We will ask the buyer, when are you going to need the service that I'm going to give to you? Just like in a wedding, for example, the lady would be the one to choose the hotel, to choose the caterer, to choose the cake, to choose the flower. The guy would just need to stand there and say the right name. And the key to it is to allow customers full control of the buying process, because now the product is almost in the hand of the customer. You may think that now the deal is done. There's nothing else to be done anymore. You're wrong, because the next step is crucial. The next step is the most important step, because after the wedding, we still need to maintain the marriage. We still need to renew it once in a while. We still need to make it last. We still need to go for anniversaries every year. And this step, I call it following up. And it's the most crucial step in any sales experience, because without following up, we are not able to maintain a long-term relationship between the seller and the buyer. That is why we have membership scheme. This is why we have referral scheme. This is why we have after-sales service. So there you have it, maintain long-term relationship with the seller and the buyer. I have told you A, B, C, D, E, F. And just like Crispin has just taught me, let us repeat what we are saying just now. What is A? Assessing the needs. Exactly. What is B? Building trust. Somebody has been writing down notes. What is C? Creating solutions. What is D?
Reducing rejection.
What is E?
Enforcing close.
Enforcing close. And what is F?
Follow up.
Following up. I come back to the first question that I asked you. Are we all salespeople?
Yep.
Yes. As speakers, we also need to assess the needs of the audience. We also need to build trust in the audience. We also need to create solutions for the audience, because our speech is merely points if we don't solve any problem of the audience and follow all the steps. And as a club as well, we have many guests today, and our meeting exactly follows these 6 steps. We need to be sellers in a meeting so that newcomers would be willing to join our club as a new members. So I wish that after today, you'll be able to travel back home and think about these 6 steps, and think about how you use these 6 steps in our club, even in your everyday life, because we are all salespeople once in a while, even every day when you talk to your friends. And if there is one particular point that I want you to remember, one particular technique that I want you to learn in order to conduct these 6 steps really well, that is, most people think selling is the same as talking. No. The most effective salespeople want to know that listening is the most important part of their job. Through listening, we understand the audience. Through listening, we know their needs and their wants. Through listening, we will be able to know their problems so that we can create solutions for them. And through listening, we'll be able to create long-term relationships. So I wish that today you'll be able to create long-term relationships with these 6 steps, not just in sales, but in your life as well. Thank you very much for your attention, and thank you for listening to me. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.